Hey everybody, Phil from Two Forks. So I built this shelf, cabinet, whatever you want to call it, bookcase thing the other day. And I had a little bit of cherry left over from some things that I was doing. And I wanted to dovetail this part right here because, you know, I'm on this quest to figure out this elusive dovetail business, and I have a dovetail jig. And I'm trying to figure it all out. So I thought, all right, let's see if we can do that. And I did. And I was pretty pleased with it. But I learned two things while I was doing that, and I'll pass those two things on to you because I think if you're new to it, they may be helpful. If you're not new to it and you understand dovetails, then this isn't the video for you because it's pretty rudimentary stuff, but it's important stuff. So anyway, let me swing the camera around. I'll show you this beautiful dovetail that I made over here and tell you why it's completely wrong. So let me switch the camera around and I'll get back to you. What do you think? Looks good, right? Yeah. If you don't know anything about dovetails, you'd think that looks pretty good. But it's not, and here's why. This is what you're seeing, right? On that thing, and that's not what you want to see. Because if you can see here, these gaps right here, because I'm knocking this bottom one down, that's essentially how they go together. I push it up through there, it comes apart by this bottom one going down. So, right, I didn't use the old dovetail feature of the dovetail. So this is really what you want to see, because then obviously these guys can't slide out past there. That's hence the dovetail part. So I did it wrong. I had a 50-50 chance of getting it right, and I did it wrong. Same thing as if you're doing drawer boxes. If you're like a masochist and you do dovetail your drawer boxes, you got to do the same thing. You've always got to take into consideration which way the force is going. So if you do it like this and the force is this way, it can just pull out. So it has to be like this. So, and the force is going that way, so they can't pull free. I know it's rudimentary and everybody should know that, but I didn't think about it. And somebody told me I'm overcomplicating it. Well, I guess I undercomplicated it too much. Again, I had a 50-50 chance of getting it right and I got it wrong, but I'll never make that mistake again. So yeah, one more thing I want to show you real quick, and that'll be it for this. Okay, so somebody asked me the other day how the name Two Forks Woodworks came about, and it kind of relates to me having a 50-50 chance of getting this right. 50-50 chance for me is no chance. Yeah, I have bad luck. I don't know what it is. I live a good life, but I have bad luck or just weird things happen to me. So I was in New York City, and I went to a place called Italy with some friends and my wife. And it's a cool place. You can check it out if you're over in New York City. It's like an outdoor market, but it's actually underground. It's in like the basement of these buildings. And it's cool. And so we stopped to have some lunch and drink a couple beers, what have you. And it was charcuterie, whatever, you know, meats and cheeses and, you know, delicious food. And I open up my little roll up, my napkin thing, and I have two forks in there. So I just figured it was a New York City thing. I can rationalize anything. I was thinking, well, maybe it's a bougie thing. They eat the meat with one fork and the cheese with another. That's me. And so I'm going along, and about 20 minutes after we're eating all this stuff and me kind of trying to hack away at it, I look up and my friends all have knives. So I'm like, hey guys, where'd you get those knives? And they thought that was the funniest thing. I think one person actually fell off of their chair. They were laughing so hard that I spent the last 20 minutes trying to hack through salami with two forks. So hence the name Two Forks and Two Forks Woodworks. Back to the dovetails. So when you're cutting these tails, you use this dovetail bit, and this has to be basically done in one pass. You can't step it down, or I think essentially you'll just cut a rectangle out of there. So it's got to be done in one pass. So I thought, why don't I use this first? Because these bits, I bet, are pretty expensive, and it actually is pretty hard on the bit, it seems, to cut all of that out, especially when you're using cherry or maple or something like that. So put the collar in that you use for this thing normally, and then just put a smaller bit in there, obviously smaller than the top part right here. This one's pretty close, it's a quarter, and just run it and hog a bunch of that material out. It definitely seemed easier on the bit, and it also seemed better for tear out. I definitely didn't get as much tear out after I used this 1/4 inch bit than when I didn't use the 1/4 inch bit at all. So it seemed to help. Now, a bunch of you out there may be thinking, well, who doesn't do that? Well, I didn't. Again, I don't know. I haven't watched any videos. I don't know anything about doing this. I'm learning all of this the hard way, so you guys don't have to. So anyway, those are my two little tips for today. Don't screw it up, and don't screw it up, basically, is what I'm trying to tell you. All right? Stay peaceful, everybody. See you in the next one.